If you pop down to any children's play park, you've no doubt seen a swing set. We've all pushed our children on these, we've been pushed ourselves. And this simple apparatus brings smiles to the kids' faces for hours. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make a simple swing set that you can build yourself at home. What you will need is 7 50 to 75 millimeter CCA treated gum poles, and these are 3 meters in length, 3 1 meter lengths of 12 millimeter galvanized thread bar, 25 12 millimeter fender washers, and 24 M12 nuts. Tools you will need are a hand saw, an angle grinder with a steel cutting disc and safety glasses, a drill with a 13 millimeter spade bit, a hammer, 2 19 millimeter spanners, a marker or pencil, tape measure, and a ladder. Before we can start building our swing set, we need to lay out the gum poles in the approximate shape of the swing, and I'm going to lay out 2 legs to start forming my first A-frame. Now, gum poles are strong and ideal for outdoor use such as the swing set, and the gum poles are grouped by diameter, in this case 50 to 75 millimeters. Try and choose the larger ones for the legs and the thinner ones for the cross braces. We're going to need 4 cross braces 1500 millimeters long. So let's measure, mark and cut 2 of our 3 meter poles in half. Now these poles are strong and can be hard wearing on your tools, especially when cutting and drilling. So I prefer to cut this with a handsaw rather than a jigsaw. There we have my 4 cross braces cut, and I can place 2 of them on the ground to complete the A-frame, and the other 2 cross braces will be used on the crossbar, so we'll tackle that later. Let's start assembling our A-frame. For the top of the A-frame, I'm going to measure and mark 350 millimeters from the end and drill both poles. Today I'm going to be using my electric rather than my cordless drill. These gum poles need a strong machine, and this Bosch is up for the task. I'd also recommend you do yourself a favor and start with a new spade bit, as these poles are hard and will blunten the bit by the end of the project. Now you're probably wondering why I'm using a 13mm drill bit with 12mm thread bar. That extra 1mm is going to make it a lot easier when I try and push the thread bar through the hole. I'm going to be using thread bar and nuts to assemble this, and I find it easier to pre-cut my lengths of thread bar into 250mm lengths. Now 250mm is slightly on the long side, but as the diameters of the pole vary slightly, I'd rather have them too long than too short. We can always trim them at the end. When cutting the thread bar, the threads can get damaged, so put a nut on either side of your mark before you cut, and once cut, work the nut over the cut end a few times to clean up the thread. Right, so the thread bar is cut and I have my 12 lengths. We can now use these to secure the poles together. If you use a hammer to help push the thread bar through, rather use a nut to knock again so you don't damage the threads. Tighten them by hand for now, making sure you have a washer between the pole and the nut. Now it's time for the cross brace that will close off the A. Measure and mark 1.6 meters from the top of the pole and drill through the leg and into the cross brace on either side. When drilling through the poles, always try and drill as far as possible into the second pole. This makes it a lot easier to get the same angle, which is important as thread bar has no flex in it. A spade bit is not designed to remove debris from the hole, so every now and then I'm just pulling the bit out a little to help remove the shavings. Otherwise the hole simply clogs up. Now I can attach the cross brace to the leg using the thread bar. Remember, a wash on either side and tighten it by hand. Done. Now exactly the same on the other side. So our A-frame's starting to take shape. The only thing outstanding now is the top cross brace. For that I'm going to measure 1.3 meters from the top down the back of the leg and mark it. Now attach the cross brace to the back of the leg. That end will go onto the crossbar. We'll get to that later. Now, as you can see on the previous build, it is important that this cross brace is mounted on the back of the leg. This is where you may need an extra set of hands to hold it in place while you drill and ensure that you get the correct angle. And that's our first A-frame done. Now do exactly the same for your second A-frame. With my 2 A-frames complete, I can now use the 90mm spanners, tighten up all the nuts, ensuring they're all nice and tight. Time now to call in some extra hands, stand the A-frames up, ensuring they are straight, and put our top crossbar in place, keeping the drill bit parallel and horizontal to the ground at all times. Okay, so we're almost done. The last 2 pieces of thread bar are to attach the crossbar to the legs. On this side, I'm going to use the front leg and go in from the back, and on the other side, I will use the back leg and go in from the front. Right, all the nuts are nice and tight. Next job is to take the angle grinder and trim off the excess thread bar. That's our swing structure complete. All we need now is a swing. I'm going to measure and find the center mark, as this swing only needs 1 eye bolt. And if you want to see how I made the swing, check out the link in the description below. And now the moment of truth. It holds. Now we could cement it into the ground. I'd dig a 400mm deep hole, but I like the fact that this one's movable. I can pack it up if I need to. There we go, our swing set is complete, and I'm sure the kids are going to have as much fun swinging as I've had building this project. Now remember, everything I've used is available at Builders, in store or online at builders.co.za. For more videos like this, check out the blog on the website. Get to Builders, get it done.